Friday edition of FSU Weather. I am student meteorologist Aaron Surrey here to open up the show here on this really beautiful cotton candy sky here behind at Doak Campbell Stadium with those pinks and those blues here behind the stadium here. It is currently 72 degrees. There I am on the camera. 72 degrees under mostly cloudy skies here. Winds out of the north-northwest at 7 miles per hour. So overall, a really beautiful day and evening we have in store, especially considering we came out the week with the rain showers, those cooler weather across the area. Feels like temperatures are in the 70s to near 69 degrees or so as you make your way over towards Georgia and into southwest Alabama. Radar is also really dry outside. Tonight's headlines: it was the beautiful weather outside today. How long will this last? Also, the last show before Thanksgiving as well. And then will we have one more month in the year? What will the weather patterns be? All that and more on FSU Weather. Well, guys, overall, a really great night in store tonight across the Tallahassee area. As we see on those cameras there with the Tallahassee looking really nice outside, 72 degrees, Thomasville, Georgia, 68, St. George, 74, and also St. Mark's at 74 degrees. So overall, a really pleasant night outside tonight. But how do you think about that, Matthew?
I think the sunsets look really nice tonight overall. It looks really nice. It looks really pleasant compared to what it was earlier in the month where it was hot, steamy, and just not fun to be outside with.
Right. Of course, we had all that rainfall too falling across the Tallahassee area. So nice to actually see the sun outside this time of the, well, I guess night now, because we're already past daylight savings time, right? So
yeah.
But overall, looking really pleasant out the door. But why don't you show us more about that, Matthew?
Yeah, of course. So as you can see right now, we got pretty 70s and higher 80s right now in the Big Bend, as well as just to the north of the Georgia-Florida line. As well as looking on our right here, you can see the winds are pretty calm, a little gusty right now in Tallahassee, but overall pretty calm. In St. Mark's, we're not even getting a reading, so that's pretty interesting. But overall, 0s, 5s, 3s, 7s, not bad. We also got dew points are in the mid-60s right now across Tallahassee and Quincy, as well as in Greenville and Perry. We're also looking at 66 and 65. Right now in Futurecast, we're looking at pretty clear skies, nothing in the area right now. If you're outside, it's probably very pleasant, very nice. So you're looking really well here. If you're at the Florida State soccer game, you're probably having a great time as it's looking really nice outside. And as we go into today, you're going to see the clouds are going to sweep out. It's going to be very clear tomorrow, as well as you can see, as we approach game time tomorrow, it's going to be a little cloudy, but overall no showers. It's going to be really nice, very calm, and just a really good time to be outside for football games. And as you can see, as we go through game time, we go into Sunday, it's going to be clear, maybe a couple of stray clouds, but overall looking really nice today and tomorrow, as well as Sunday for your travel plans as maybe you start to go home for Thanksgiving or you look to go maybe out of state. If you're going into College Town tonight, it's probably going to look real nice at 9 p.m. It's going to be 68, and it's going to drop into the lower 60s, but it's partly cloudy, so it's going to be a really nice night to go out on the town, maybe go have some fun, meet some friends for dinner. It's going to be a really great time. I know I might go outside and go meet some people, so great time to hang out with others. And if you're going hiking this week, it's going to be, well, if you're hiking on Saturday, it's going to be in the upper 60s to start, and then you're going to go into the 70s, and it's going to cool off as you go into later in the evenings where it's going to be in the lower 70s. There's going to be a couple of clouds, but other than that, pretty sunny, so I would, use some sunblock, but it's going to look really nice so far for hiking. And if you're going to go dog walking, for all those dog lovers out there, courtesy of Chandler, it's going to be very nice. You're going to be in the 50s to start, and then eventually you're going to be in the 70s. So it's going to be really nice, looking really good, and it's perfect time to go walk the dog. And then if we go into the 7-day forecast for this week, we got 70s on Saturday and 70s on Sunday with lows in the lower 60s and lower 50s, which will be very nice. Monday will be 78 with a low of 56, a couple of clouds, not a lot of showers, so it's going to look really nice overall. We're going to go into Tuesday, and good chance of showers, going to be just around 80, probably a little bit lower than that, lows in the 60s. And then as we go into Wednesday, you're going to look and, well, it's going to be a cloudy, slight chance of rain, but most of it might have been cleared out. You're going to be looking at 60s, cooler weather, perfect for Thanksgiving and hanging out. And then as we go into Thursday for Thanksgiving, for all the plans you have, it's going to look really nice in the 60s. And Friday might be a little rainy, but Thanksgiving is going to look good. So I'm going to pass it off here to Nico, and he's going to take us over.
Yes, thank you, Matthew. So right now we're taking a look around the state of Florida. You can see how we're looking at really nice sunsets all around the area. You can see nice sunset in Pensacola, beautiful sunset with the red area. Tampa, you've got red areas here as well. And as you look in Miami Beach, you're not really having as much of the red areas. The sun has already gone down. Jacksonville has already had the sunset as well. So we're definitely going to be dealing with really nice conditions this evening. But as we're looking around our current temperatures, we're looking at temperatures in the 70s pretty much around the entire state of Florida right now. So we're dealing with temperatures at 80 in Miami actually, but looking at South Florida, we're dealing at 71 degrees. Looking at Jacksonville, you're in the 60s right now. So your coolest temperatures are actually northeastern Florida, where you do have that northeasterly breeze off the coast, which you do tend to get at this time of the year sometimes. As you head into South Florida, Central Florida, you're dealing with dew points that are in the 70s. It's very muggy here, but across the Panhandle, we're dealing with a little bit nicer dew points in the 60s. A little bit less humid here, but still very warm, very humid for this time of the year. Looking at our radar, it's raining offshore, but nothing's really onshore right now. So if you're going to be dealing with any travel Friday for ahead of Thanksgiving, you aren't going to have to worry about anything today. I know some people are already heading home. Looking at our future satellite and radar, you can see some clouds heading in the area into tomorrow, but after that, we're not really going to see even clouds on Sunday. It's going to be nice, and we're not going to see anything in the way of precipitation here in Tallahassee, maybe a few isolated showers across the peninsula Saturday and across the southern part of the state on Sunday near Miami if you're heading there for Thanksgiving. Looking at our rainfall forecast there, you can see it's not going to do much of anything over the next few days, maybe less than a half of an inch in some patchy areas across South Florida, but that's about it. And looking at our future temperatures, they're not going to change too much over the next couple days. It is going to get into the low 60s in the morning, but that's not abnormally cold or warm for this time of the year, slightly above average. If you're going to the game tomorrow, it's going to get into the upper 70s tomorrow afternoon, so definitely be prepared for that. As we head into Sunday, a little bit of cooler air, but not much colder. It's not going to be like well below normal. It's going to be about 53, and it's still dark in Pensacola at 7:13 because they're a little bit behind us, and the clock, the sun rises a little bit later, and you're dealing with cooler temperatures as well because of that in the morning. Sunday afternoon is the same kind of story. We're dealing with upper 70s. 77 degrees is our high on Sunday, but around the state we're dealing with temperatures in the upper 70s. Taking a look at our weekend forecast, Miami, you're in the 80s for the next 3 days. That's typical for this time of the year for your area. Taking a look at Pensacola, you're going to be a little bit cooler, only in the upper 60s on Sunday, but warming up a little bit ahead of that next cold front on Monday. But now I'm going to pass things off to Ryan.
Yeah, thanks, Nico. So if you're heading out to the southeast tonight, maybe going home for the weekend, going home for Thanksgiving break, we've got good-looking conditions across the southeast. Huntsville, Alabama, sitting at 62 degrees. All of the screen starting to get a little darker. New Orleans, 72 as the sun does set. New Orleans, you do have a little bit of sunlight left as we approach the dusk hours. 71 out in New Orleans, 69 over in Shreveport. And as the sun just continues to set, more and more of these cities are popping up with those dark icons. 69 up in Montgomery, 64 up in Nashville. And as we go through the day today, we'll notice that dew points are on the higher side, 58 being at dew point in Nashville, 60 in Montgomery, 63 over in Jackson, 64 in Charleston. So most of the southeast is on the humid side. But for the most part, the majority of our moisture is well offshore. Not a lot of rainfall to deal with, just some isolated showers and storms up the Tennessee Valley into the Virginias and up into the Northeast. And as we move through the overnight hours into Friday, Saturday, that rain will clear out. And by Saturday afternoon, clear sunshine for most of the southeast. A couple of isolated showers moving in from out west near Oklahoma and Nebraska. For the most part, temperature-wise, we're going to be staying pretty nice and comfortable. Overall, tomorrow morning, getting up and out the door, 59 degrees in Montgomery, 69 in New Orleans. Low spot being Low Rock, 49 degrees. So maybe something will keep you a little bit warmer as you move into the overnight hours, but as well as Charleston, you're staying at 64 degrees, so you're going to be quite comfortable waking up on Saturday morning, and then by the time college football is going on, by the time we're getting out and enjoying our Saturday temperatures, upper 60s, low 70s across the southeast, 73 in New Orleans, 69 in Jackson, 60 in Nashville, 71 in Charlotte. And then as we move into Sunday morning, getting up and out the door, going to be a little bit colder on Sunday, 42 over in Jackson, 38 in Nashville, and 45 in Charlotte. And then working our way further south, 50s do pop up near Atlanta, Charleston, and then 54 in New Orleans as well. On this Sunday afternoon, by the time the NFL is going on, we've got good conditions, especially for our NFL cities, 70 in New Orleans, 68 in Atlanta, 64 in Charlotte, 63 in Nashville. So if you're heading out to Charleston for the weekend, head home for Thanksgiving. We'll have more on the travel plans here in a minute, but 78 degrees on Saturday, 71 on Sunday, and then rain chances are going to stay low into the beginning of the work week. In Atlanta, similar situation of lower rain chances. A couple clouds worked their way into the forecast on Monday. A little bit cooler come the start of the work week. Huntsville, Alabama, seeing in the mid to upper 60s come Saturday, Sunday. Rain chances are going to stay low, and by Monday, temperatures are going to be reaching the 70s. New Orleans, we're going to be staying comfortable through Saturday, Sunday. Rain chances work their way back in come Monday, and we're really going to experience some great conditions across the southeast as we look ahead into what's coming up. But Nico, we're going to talk a little bit more about the holiday travel right now, aren't we?
Well, actually, I'll be talking about the national here. It's just, but
Nice to
I'll
meet
play
you.
Nico's a superstar here on FSU. I'll play him here just for this segment. But I feel like temperatures across the nation are chilly as you make your way all to the further to the north here, with 40s across the northern interior of the United States. Down across the southeastern U.S. actually feels really comfortable in the 70s as we have that more drier air in place. That'll be changing here soon, as you have that front coming through, and eventually might moisten things up a little bit, but overall should be very pleasant across our area. New England and over to the northeast also remains a little bit on the chillier side too, with those feeling like temperatures closer to 60 degrees or so in New York, and then also into the upper to mid-upper 50s there in Boston. So our current National Weather Service watches and warnings across the area. We have an air quality warning here across Virginia, inland Virginia, so Charlottesville here, over towards D.C., and also might have to watch out for if you are sensitive to any of the air quality, as well as any winter, or as well we do have some winter weather advisory in effect for the interior portions of the western U.S. here. So really along the Cascades down to the Sierra Nevada is where you have the best chance of seeing some of that snow over the next several hours to days or so. National radar is looking fairly dry across the nation's heartland, with high pressure dominating across the area. That cooler air is also taking place and allowing for that more cooler conditions across places like Oklahoma, Kansas, up into the Midwest. In our area, we had that system that came through over the week, and that's finally pulling and making its way off towards the north and east, allowing for this more, at least relatively speaking, more drier air coming in place here with that high pressure situated just off towards the mid-Atlantic. Now for upper level winds here, we have a break in that trough across the southeast. We have the winds are a little bit higher as you make your way off towards the west here with what we call a jet streak here. So we have the very fast winds, especially if you're on an airline jet moving from Southern California over towards our area. If you're going to Miami, you might actually make good timing here. Kind of the opposite on the way back, though. So overall, future satellite and radar, we have the area of low pressure pulling away from our area. We then have that nice drier air, that more stable air coming in place, especially for tomorrow, just in time for our game at Doak tomorrow. And then into our day on Sunday, we should expect a continuation of that really dry, sunnier conditions across our area, maybe a bit more unsettled as you make your way off towards the central U.S. Rainfall forecast, we see that at least the bulk of the rain is going to be more concentrated across the New England area. So Boston into the Canadian Maritimes has the best chance of seeing the rainfall around 3 to 8 inches or so across the area. And then over into the west coast of the U.S. where we have that system coming in place. We'll have that, at least some of it actually might even be in the form of some snow too in the upper elevations, so do keep in mind if you're traveling out towards the western U.S. The drought monitor, actually we could perhaps see some rainfall later on next week across the more drought areas. We'll talk more about that here on the Thanksgiving planner. But overall for right now, still staying pretty high and dry, and also with those droughty conditions continuing in Louisiana. So future temperatures, Saturday looks really pleasant tomorrow morning, waking up with below freezing in the Midwest. We warm up into the 70s across the southeast and 40s and 50s in the Midwest, and then 50s over to the Intermountain West. Tomorrow night, or I should say Sunday morning, should be a pretty similar story as tomorrow night, or as tomorrow morning, with those 70s or those 40s across the areas and across the southeast. A little bit chillier as you make your way off towards the Midwest and to the north. And then we rebound back into the 70s and 60s really across much of the eastern seaboard. So we can forecast if you're over in New York City, really pleasant with those sunny conditions, continuing 50s for highs. Minneapolis, very similar to New York with those 40s continuing on. And then Dallas, Texas, 60s to near 70 as you make your way into Monday. And then Salt Lake City, Utah with those 40s continuing on there. But Ryan, what is the weather like going to continue over, at least for our neck of the woods over the weekend?
Yeah, over the weekend we've got great conditions all across the country and especially locally here in Tallahassee. Let's take a look at the airport delays across the country. We had a little bit of delays earlier, but as Aaron mentioned, with the quicker flight, we're going to have no delays across most of our major airports. I know Atlanta had a few delays early, and a couple other cities had some delays working in with weather. But for the most part, all of our major cities dealing with good weather for right now. So at least that aspect of flying for Thanksgiving weekend is out of the way. 70 degrees right now at Tallahassee International Airport. Delays unlikely. And then as we head into the overnight hours, again, those delays are going to stay unlikely into the overnight and into the morning hours. It's all just going to be with security and all that hassle of going through airport security. And then we'll finally make it to our final destination. Or if you're driving to your final destination, on Saturday we've got good driving conditions. It's going to be early into next week that we change that up a little bit. But for tomorrow, we've got really good driving conditions. 70 degrees at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and then just all throughout the day. A mix of sun and clouds, and it's going to be nice and a great stretch of driving. For heading out to the beach, Panama City Beach, looking nice and comfortable. 70 degrees, northwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, plenty of sunshine. Whatever beach you end up at this weekend, I hope you do end up at one because we've got the weather that is just going to make it amazing. If you're not ending up at the beach, maybe you're ending up at Doak tomorrow. 72 degrees for our game against North Alabama, 66 by 8 o'clock. And then as the time you're leaving the game, it's going to cool off a little bit, 63 degrees. But for the most part, it'll be warmer than a few of the games we've had this season. 90% waxing crescent out tonight. We've got good viewing conditions for tonight, 52 degrees and clear if you're going out to take a look at some stars, or if you're going up and going to church on Sunday morning. It's going to be a little bit cooler, 53 degrees at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning, and then warming up to 60 degrees, about 10 degrees every 2 hours is what we're going to be looking at, 60 degrees at 9 a.m. on Sunday, and then 70 degrees by 11 a.m. If you're going out for a picnic, grabbing some food, maybe making those Thanksgiving dishes a little early so then you can have it throughout the week. 73 degrees for Sunday, and then by lunchtime about 75 degrees. Now there is a soccer game going on at FSU right now, and if we win that game, we'll be playing against Texas at 5:30 on Sunday. 73 degrees is going to be the temperature for the kickoff, and then 68 degrees by 6, cooling off a little bit to 65 by 7 o'clock. Hanging into the weekend is going to be looking nice and dry, nice and comfortable temperatures, staying in the mid to upper 70s, and overall just a great weekend across the board. And Nico, we're going to be talking a little bit more about, if you're hitting the roads this weekend, if you're hitting a flight, what's the entire country look like? Because there is a major holiday coming up, Thanksgiving, and a lot of us are heading out of town, a lot of us heading home. So let's start off with the Northwest.
Yeah, so looking around at our northwestern tier of the country, you can see it's going to be chilly to start the week. You can easily see that they're used to that up in the Pacific Northwest. But you could start to see as you head into Wednesday, you can see this precipitation off the coast. It's not going to hit Wednesday, but as you head into your actual Thanksgiving Day on Thursday, you're going to have to deal with wintry precipitation across part of this area. So that's definitely something that they're going to need to worry about on Thursday. At least they are used to it up there, though.
Yeah, at least they're used to it, but it is going to be a little kind of an early season snowfall in that it's, still Thanksgiving time, but dealing with some snowfall, especially in Idaho, looks like Montana and parts of eastern Washington are going to be dealing with the majority of the wintry precipitation. Spots like Portland, Maine, Medford, Oregon, also dealing with some of the precipitation. Out to the southwest now we go, and we'll see spots like Denver, you are going to see some snowfall as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. But that's going to clear out as we move ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you can now easily see by Wednesday morning we're just cold, but we're not dealing with the wintry precipitation. But if you're going to travel early, especially to New Mexico or the Denver area in the mountains, you may have to deal with potentially hazardous conditions. So as you head into Thursday, your conditions are going to improve
and it actually looks like it's going to get warmer than average in parts of Colorado as we head into Thursday.
Yeah, and if you're in central Texas, there is going to be a couple of showers moving through by Thursday. A majority of us in the southeast are going to be dealing with some rainfall as we move into Tuesday, Wednesday, and eventually clearing out by Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, definitely. You could see a strong cold front is expected to push through. We could have the risk of heavy rain, potentially even severe weather highlighted for some areas on Monday. I know Tuesday could have some severe weather too. The SPC hasn't highlighted an area yet, but it's definitely possible. But the good news is that most of the southeast clears out for Thanksgiving, but you can see another system heading into parts of Louisiana and Texas. It's a drought-stricken area, so they're going to be happy to see that rainfall for Thanksgiving.
I think they're going to be happy to see that rainfall, and they're going to be happier to see those cooler temperatures on the backside of that cold front, because once that moves through, most of the southeast is going to be cooling off quite a bit compared to where we are right now. You know, high temperatures in the 70s is definitely not going to be quite that warm come this time next week.
Yeah, it definitely won't be. I know some of the models have had us well below normal. As we head into the Midwest, you can see this area you're dealing with a little bit of snow, but that's not any different than normal. As we head into Wednesday and Thursday, they're just going to be dealing with some chillier conditions. As we head into Thursday, that's pretty much it. But a big story is we're going to be going up to the northeast right now. This is where we are dealing with frozen precipitation potential.
Yeah, we could be dealing with a potential nor'easter, as you see working its way through State College into New York, some wintry precipitation and the low pressure system moving off the coast. Going to be bringing some wintry weather over to the parts of the northeast. But Nico, you're going to have more on the climate for us.
Yes, definitely. They're going to be dealing with some pretty cooler temperatures up there, but here in Florida, you can see our temperatures have been pretty warm. We saw 87 degrees on Friday, which was a record high. You can see another 87 on the 22nd, 88 on the 29th. Those are the temperatures to easily stick out. They're near record values for this time of the year. We've only had a few days below average. Some of those were this week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, where we were a little bit below average due to that clouds and rain, but today we were right back above average. You can see we've had 7 days below average and 21 above average since October 18th, which was 30 days ago. We've had 3 times as many days that were warmer than average. Some of these streaks have been pretty long, like a 12-day streak of above average from October 20th through the 31st, and then 8-day streak just from the 4th to the 11th of November. Today, we hit 78. We weren't quite to the record high of 85 set back in 1938. Our low, however, was almost 20 degrees above average and obviously nowhere near that record low of 24. Looking at our future maximum temperature anomalies, though, you can see much of the country warmer than average with the front approaching, but you're going to be dealing with warmer conditions until Monday. But then on Tuesday, that front comes through, and you can see much of the country plunges to below normal values, including here in Florida and around the southeast, where many of us are going to be traveling to for Thanksgiving. You can see our Climate Prediction Center 6 to 10 day outlook. This would be from Thursday, November 23rd, Thanksgiving, to Monday the 27th. So if you're traveling back from Thanksgiving, you're going to be dealing with well below normal temperatures. And as you head into after that, you're going to be dealing with cooler to normal temperatures, maybe not as cold as next weekend, but as we look from about November 25th through December 1st, you're still going to be dealing with those chillier temperatures. Our rainfall departure is our big story right now. We got a little bit, but we didn't get quite enough. We saw 0.71 inches of rain with the system this week. That's only about 3/4 of an inch. You could see we start with the first, we just had no rain up until the 14th, and we kept going more below average, a little boost on 14th and 15th, and now we're back in the drier. So we really need to have this rain right now. We're about 0.8 of an inch below normal for November. We were also well below for October, and that's why you're talking about moderate drought and abnormally dry conditions across Tallahassee. You're talking about extreme drought in areas north of Mariana, which is not that far from here, and you can expand this to more to southeast, and you're talking about exceptional drought across parts of Louisiana and Mississippi, where they really desperately need the rainfall the most. The good news with that is there could be some, but probably not enough. This will help alleviate the rainfall situation in Florida, and maybe in 8 to 14 days we'll be dealing with a little bit better of a situation across Mississippi and Louisiana. We can definitely cross our fingers and hope so for them. But now I'm going to pass things off to Matthew.
Thank you, thank you, Nico. And as we look outside, you're going to see that we're looking at 70s and upper 60s across the Big Bend as well as across the Florida-Georgia line. So we're looking really nice with the temperatures right now. And of course, outside it's pretty calm outside. A little bit of wind, but not much. Once again, down to the south, there's not that much wind. In St. Mark's, there's nothing right now. So, But 7 miles per hour in Tallahassee, but not that much going on. And we're looking pretty good otherwise. The dew points, mid-60s overall, maybe a couple of lower 60s as you go across the Florida-Georgia line. But other than that, we're looking really good right now. Feeling pretty nice outside. And as we go into Futurecast here, as we look at what it is right now, there's no clouds, not a lot of storms, except maybe way up to the north in Georgia. But other than that, not much going on and looking really nice. And as we continue to go into Friday, as we keep moving through, you can see all the clouds move through as we approach game time tomorrow. Maybe a couple clouds around game time, but not much going on. It's going to be really nice for college football here in Tallahassee as Florida State takes on North Alabama. And across the southeast, it's going to be very nice. As we continue going into Sunday, you're going to see that there's not a lot of clouds, maybe a stray shower up near Valdosta, but outside that, there's not going to be much going on. It's going to be a very pleasant weekend for outside activities. Tonight, it's going to be 6 degrees, mostly cloudy. Really nice night to be outside if you're going to do anything. Really great time to go outside and sit outside in the porch. So great evening. And as we go into our fall forecast for Saturday, right? Looking really nice. Look at these graphics. Wow, they're just amazing from Chandler. You got lower 60s, and it's a climb into the 70s as we get around noon and mid-afternoon, and then it's going to start dropping off towards 6 around game time into the lower 70s. And as we go into tonight's, or Saturday's forecast, we got 52 degrees. It's going to be clear, nothing. It's going to be a great night to go outside, maybe go stargazing, maybe just hang outside with some friends. It's going to be a great time. 4 miles per hour winds out of the northwest. It's going to be really nice. And overall, as we go into Sunday patio forecast, it's going to be really nice if you're going to go outside to work on some homework. You know, it's going to be 70 around 11 a.m. Mid-afternoon, it's going to stay around the mid-70s, and it'll slowly drop off as the evening hours come along. But other than that, sunny, pleasant day to go outside and just rest. Maybe, go outside, do some homework, get some vitamin D. Really nice time overall. And as we go into the week here, you're going to look, You're going to look, and it's going to be Saturday and Sunday here, once again, upper 70s. And then Monday, it's also going to be upper 70s with lows in the 60s and 50s. And then as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday, it's going to be 70s again. Chance of rain on Tuesday, as well as a little bit of chance on Wednesday. But other than that, it's going to look really nice overall. And we're just going to continue to have a great week as Saturday and Friday, it might rain just a little bit.
Yeah, that looks really nice there, Matthew, with, of course, 62 degrees on Gobble Day, right? How excited are you for that?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready for that ham and turkey, man. I've been saving up all week.
That's right. I am as well, of course, with the cooler weather. It's going to feel more seasonal, right?
Oh, yeah.
So looking very much forward to that. What are your plans for Thanksgiving break?
Oh, man, just go home, rest, have some of that ham and turkey with the family, maybe play some football with my siblings, just the perfect time.
Sounds really fun. So what is your favorite dish there on for Thanksgiving?
Oh, the ham my mom makes every year is just, it's perfect. I have those leftovers every year, and it's just amazing. Nothing like it.
Ham is, actually, I'll say probably ham is great and all, but I'll say turkey is probably my favorite dish on Thanksgiving. I don't know, Turkey Day, it's got to be turkey, right? I mean, that's how I view it, but.
Hey, I mean, the right turkey can beat ham sometimes, I will say that.
Right, but either way, great meal, of course, before we come back to campus after that, and we'll have to see how the weather changes as accordingly, but looks like it should be a good Thanksgiving overall.
Yes, it should be. We're looking real nice.
That's right. So again, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU Weather.
Well, also, you can follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/FSU Weather, as well as you can follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/FSU Weather, and you can follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather as well.
That's right, all the good stuff. And also, don't forget as well, Matthew's first show today, so everybody should give a hand to him because he did an amazing job. Everybody's clapping here in the studio. But overall, take things back to the national forecast here before we send you off. Temperatures are going to be cooler tomorrow morning across the Midwest, warming up into the 70s across the Southeast or so, just in time for our game against North Alabama. And Sunday morning, waking up really pleasant with those sunshine out there across the eastern seaboard, a little bit cloudy as you make your way off towards the central U.S. as well, and maybe perhaps a few clouds down by L.A. And then by the time you get into your Sunday evening, should still remain relatively warm across the southeast, as well as across a little bit cooler as you make your way off towards the northeast. So the week ahead, at least for your weekend here, looking really pleasant out there. If you're heading out to Doak Campbell Stadium to watch the Noles, I'll make a prediction, beat the Alabama Lions here, maintain our perfect record. We should stay in the mid-upper 70s here. And then tomorrow, or I should say later on next week, we should expect those temperatures to go back up into the upper 70s before we take another nosedive just in time for Turkey Day.